to order. Please rise and recite the Pledge of Allegiance with me. Wait, let's wait for Brandy. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody, for showing up on this beautiful day, our first and only meeting of May. The record reflect that Director Sorkin is not present. At this time, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda with the additions of adding on 6.9 Haley Hall is a 0.05 FTE STEAM teacher and a 0.01 FTE interventionalist. Also, on 616, the list of updates, the seniority list would be number 62 would be Crystal Nietzsche Dusler. She's number 62. 114 is Kathy Kemen. 134 on that seniority list is Julie Lindeman. And a probationary teacher of highly, how do you say that?
Somebody just ring the doorbell to get in?
Yeah.
Yep.
Unicini or something?
I got it.
Okay.
I'll get it.
With that, they all move from 0.71 FTE to 0.78 FTE. Okay.
Can I do an addition right now, or?
Sure.
I would like to add a discussion on, parking by the baseball fields,
And where would you like to add that?
wherever you'd like to put it.
Any recommendations? On the board, where would you like to put that? How about we put it in right after the treasurer's report,
5'8"?
5'8". Right? 5'8". So we're gonna have a discussion on,
Baseball field parking?
parking.
Okay.
Okay, anything else?
I'd make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Support. We got a motion by Johan, and we got support by
Me,
Reardon.
Oh, you fight for it. Leg
Reardon.
wrestle.
arm wrestle,
Any more
you
discussion?
got it.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Moving on. There was nobody signed up for visitor input, but is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak? Okay, with that done being said, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Support. Moved by Director Reardon, support by Director
Johan?
Johan. Any discussion?
Yes, I would like to remove 4.3 for just a separate discussion.
Want to discuss it now?
Yes, we want to discuss it now?
Sure.
Okay.
So what is the process for renewing? I suppose none of the ADs are here, right? What's the process for returning
Renewal.
coaches as far as, do they all go through like a
I can tell
like
you
a
what it is.
evaluation, or what happens?
What happens is the coaches talk to the activity directors, the one who's in charge of that sport. There's a piece of paper that they all have to fill out, the coaches, to indicate whether they want to come back or they don't want to come back. And then they fill that out, and then the activity directors have conversations with the coaches. And then if the coach wants to return and everything else is good with the evals, then they forward the recommendation to the school board.
So who evaluates? Like, do they send it to the players, parent? Like, how does that work? The
They
system?
typically send evaluations out. Sometimes the players get them, sometimes the parents get them, and sometimes the other coaches, like their assistant coaches, will also get them.
Are they anonymous? So it would make it, as far as turning them in.
As far as I know, they are.
So if there was any problems, it should come out within those evaluations, is what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay,
And if there are, then the activity directors will follow up on them
okay.
if some problem areas show up.
And part of the athletic director's job duties, correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Schmidt, but part of their job duty is to also be attending sporting events so that they can see what's going on at games and things like that too.
Yep, absolutely.
So we did get an email just before the meeting, which kind of opened up different information that maybe makes voting on this a little bit more of a struggle.
Well, that's a
So-
separate thing, that's administrative item.
Well, actually, yeah, and actually what I was gonna say is somebody reached out to me that wanted to be renewed, but they're not on the list. And so I'm just wondering if that could have been an oversight or,
And we might have another wave coming
okay,
of other folks that for you to approve for
Okay.
next year.
And the way that works too, Noel, the head coaches have choice in that too.
They're involved in that conversation, correct.
would that be for I know that would be for assistants, but would that be for like JV and all
Oh,
of that as
yes,
well?
absolutely could.
Okay. Got it, thank you.
Do we have a
I'm
motion?
good.
Do we have a motion by Director Reardon?
Sorry, I guess I do have a follow-up to what she is asking about. Because, it seems like this kind of comes up frequently. Does it say specifically in our policies that they're one-year contracts? Does it specifically say?
The state of Minnesota. They are one-year contracts. They are different than teacher contracts. Teacher contracts are continuing contracts, so they automatically roll over unless you do something. State of Minnesota coaching contracts are 1 year. There is no expectation of continued employment after the year. However, there is a process if you decide not to renew a coach. There is a process that the coach can use to appeal that after the board has made a decision. But coaching contracts are very different than your other contracts you have.
And then also like involvement in the youth programs and youth sports. Because I know in the past, when I worked for Evelyn Gilbert and I was involved in the volleyball program, they also had, the head coach was also a part of the volleyball program or helped with the community ed volleyball program. Is that kind of an expectation? Is that something in the job?
I think the younger age volunteers that would love to have the head coach, and they always love it when the head coach is involved, because then you get the whole system going up from the younger kids to the older kids.
And it's
So
a feeder
yes,
program.
that would be an expectation. They would work with them.
All right, thank you.
Any more discussion on 4.1? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Okay, moving along to reports. 5.1, school work engagement and fundraising update from Willie Speltz and a sidekick, Shannon Oliver.
Shannon will come up right after.
We'll give her equal time anyway.
Yes. All right, I'll get going. Thank you for this opportunity. We have 11,000 things going on right now within the school to work engagement, also with the fundraising. So I'm going to try to get through this. If there's a couple repeats, I apologize. Appreciate Kirk and Angie Widener for a great $2,000 donation in honor of the 1981 DHS swimming and diving team. And a special thank you to the Golden Bear Foundation for allowing us to use them as a pass-through for this great donation. So thanks to everyone involved with that, Kirk and Angie especially. Kirk has moved back to the area and is helping out with a lot of our presentations too. So alumni are alive and well. I was lucky enough to go on a field trip with Mr. Foster's building construction class. We went to 2 harbors and Duluth for some on-site experiences that the students truly enjoyed. The kids themselves sought donations from their families' businesses for fun trivia on the bus. It's super cool the way Mr. Foster takes notes at the facilities we're visiting and then quizzes the kids with all of the donated items on the way back, and it's quite a frenzy. He goes on the PA from the, we were on a charter bus and on the PA. It was just super cool to see, a ton of fun. I did it a couple of years ago too, and that's a great trip. Probably gave over 30 prizes that were donated, so thanks to all those families of those kids. We were at the LP Building Solutions siting up in 2 harbors. We went to the Tongue and Groove store in Duluth and to the Carpenters Training Institute in Hermantown. And we were lucky enough that WDIO did a great story on this trip a couple of weeks ago. And there were 25, 28 kids that went on this trip. It was just awesome. So that was a great experience with our Academy model. The kids got to see all of it. In conjunction with the Laurentian Chamber of Commerce, we took nearly 20 kids to the Iron Range Job Fair. That was great. The kids signed up. Yes, Ashling, you were there. That was fun.
It was fun.
That was a great time. They got introduced to that. We'll slowly do more of that. It's also during our MCA testing time, so that made it tough. So we took seniors this year, and we'll see where it falls in the future if we can get it down to juniors and seniors and even sophomores. So that was great. The Franklin Do Bid is coming up. We have it'll be online before on or before May 31st, and then it'll close June 9th. It'll probably say Franklin Do Bid 1, all the items they can fit, Franklin Do Bid 2, so they'll be a day apart on closing. So they'll open June on or before May 31st, and one will close June 9 at 6, 7 o'clock, one will close June 10 at 6 or 7 o'clock. And then all of the loadout will happen on June 12 and June 13 from 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Stacy's already got ads and everything ready, but there's the bit about Franklin. Okay? And getting into some fundraising as I jump around, I have so much going on. Welcome to my brain. Can you imagine this? Just this spring, we've received over $30,000 from the Golden Bear Foundation and the Virginia Community Foundation. How incredible is that? What wonderful support from both of these groups. We are forever grateful for both of these groups doing so much for Rockridge Public Schools and everybody who donates to that, which then allows those groups. Speaking of the Golden Bear Foundation, we thank them for their recent spring grant cycle. The Golden Bear Foundation donated over $5,000 for the many grants submitted by teachers, coaches, and staff. And that's well over $10,000 if you combine the fall and spring grant cycles this year. So thank you, Golden Bear Foundation. We're in the middle of doing the same thing with the Virginia Community Foundation grants. Our Culinary 2 class competed in the Flavor of the North. What a great opportunity. Well done, Mrs. Andrea and students. They earned a fourth place finish in the main entree category. And that was awesome because everybody there was absolutely impressed and very proud. That probably got the biggest round of applause from all the event goers. Our kids looked great. They were in their clothes. Hopefully I sent you some pictures. I can't remember if I did. That was an awesome night. So many people came up to them and me and Mrs. Andrea, everybody, and expressed their support of how great this is, what great things are happening at Rockridge. This is the coolest thing ever. How awesome. So that was a lot of fun. Our Academy model in action. The CTE teachers, Career and Tech Ed, remember, formerly maybe shops at one time. Shannon will talk about how it's much more than that, but oftentimes that's what I say. Our CTE teachers, you'll see it called now, and myself, we attended the AMFA Jamboree in Duluth. We added Eli Little from North Star, as North Star kind of starts to enter the water, to incorporate some skills in the CTE world at North Star. And that was a great experience. We did a ton of collaboration with other schools, had great presenters from Grand Rapids to Cloquet to ourselves, everybody. And that was a great day for our teachers. They really appreciated that. We've been working with the Evelyn Heritage Society and the Evelyn Area Community Foundation, getting them access to old EHS. Very nice article in the Mesabi Tribune. Hopefully you saw it about the mural. Figure Ritaco's done a great job with that. Now we hope to move everything else in the Franklin do bid and keep moving along with that. But it's been fun working with the Heritage Society and the Community Foundation in Evelyn. Our high school culinary 2 class participated, same one that was at the Flavor of the North, participated in a high school cook-off down in Duluth with other area high schools. We entered 2 Rock Ridge teams. There were 2 teams from Duluth East, 2 teams from Duluth Denfeld, and 1 from Cook County. And guess where one of our teams finished? Absolutely first. Champions.
Hey.
Champions.
Awesome.
Yes. That was fun. To go down to Duluth, thanks to Danette Sebo. Some of you might recognize that name. She and I had a conversation about this a while back, and it happened. We were down in the public. It was 46 degrees down on the bottom side and 64 when you got to the top. It was chilly, man. We were under the public library, and our kids were all in their gear, and everybody was there, and all these judges came through, and you should have seen our kids explaining what the burger was, what it was made from. They looked like true professionals. You would have been super proud of what was going on there. It was hard for me, and right now I was kind of tearing up just going, wow, check this out. This is so awesome. I was just, for once, not talking and watching. Just going, nice job, kid. Nice job. Well done. It was great. So congratulations to them. And Mrs. Andrews really been doing a great job there too. Tomorrow we'll be welcoming the Air Force Racing Team. Steve Shearing does that. They bring their machines, their snow machines, their semi, and all of their team to talk about how they work on things. So that'll be down in our CTE area, and we'll welcome any other kids that hear about it, see about it. We'll get them there, but for sure, like 30 of our CTE kids will see all of that live and in action. So it'll be a big monster Air Force Amsoil type semi down there tomorrow around 9 o'clock. So come on in. Come on in if you're on campus. He travels around the U.S. and does this right here from White Lakes. And I was glad he reached out and said, Willie, we want to come to Rock Ridge because of the great things you're doing. I said, Steve, come on. So I'm glad the teachers welcome them too. All right, a couple more things. Evelyn High School auction, we got our take-home amounts. The auction one brought take-home now. Remember, gross would be more. This is our net. Brought in 14.6, and the second one brought in 19.8 for a total of 34.5 out of Evelyn. And now if you add the 34.5 that we took home from Evelyn, the 19,200 we took home from Gilbert, and the 51.7 we took home from Virginia, our auctions have allowed our people or people from the area or people who have found it interesting to spend over $105,000 on our stuff. So well done by you guys to get it out there and battle through it. Great job by our custodians and DoBid, and we've all been working together, and I'm glad that the stuff has been getting out there and getting people access. Organizing our spring mock interviews for our spring career exploration. Remember, we did this in the fall, and the volunteers for that, I sent it out to a whole bunch of people. I needed 3 one day, 3 the next day. In about 7 minutes, that was done. Willie, I can be there. Here. Put me down. So we have a great relationship with the people in our communities right now. They want to come here. They want to help. I really appreciate them. So now our second semester career exploration kids will get that same experience that the first ones did. We have 2 field dedications coming up. Steve Kersey Legacy Track dedication on Saturday, May 18th at 10 o'clock. And that's during the annual Kersey Invitational. So come on out. A whole bunch of family members are going to be there. Come on out, Gilbert. I know Gilbert, they were so supportive in the fundraising effort to get that track named after Kers. I hope all of you folks from Gilbert that are watching will come on out and come on there. If you're from Gilbert and you're coming there for the Kers, I'm sorry, I don't even know if we charge, but just tell them I'm here for the Kers and we're going to let you in for the Kersey dedication. That's going to be a great day. Deanna and her family.
What day is that again?
Saturday. This Saturday. This Saturday, the 18th.
Will it be televised at all or any sort of media?
Not that I know of. No, I'm sure the newspaper, we've invited them to come, but I don't know of any in-house stuff.
Okay.
So
Time again?
10 o'clock. 10 o'clock, come on in. I think that's going to be a ton of fun. And then on May 23rd, we will do the city auto glass field dedication, the baseball field on the north end now, of the campus. So at 3:45 on May 23rd, we will do the city auto glass field dedication. So thanks to Red Lowen and the City Auto Glass Foundation for their great donation. And we'll recognize them on that day. I look forward to that. We had to reschedule that if this is ringing a bell that you thought you heard it before. Finally, I'm coordinating a great field trip right now with Mrs. Ellefson, and I say great because she's so excited and she's feeling the same way. We're getting her Iron Range history class to go get many historical experiences at the Discovery Center, the history museums, all of the area, the mines. We're trying to find a way to get all those experiences for that class in this little time frame of this, right, of a million things going on. So she and I will catch up more on that. Any questions on all of that? This has been an incredibly crazy month and it's not done yet.
I have no questions.
No question.
All right, now before I go, I want to introduce Shannon Mulliver. She is the True North Stars Grant Administrator. Shannon and I work hand in hand all year. She manages all of the money. I'll talk in my Willie Speltz way. She gives us a ton of money that allows us to do these great things. She will talk about how she obtains and gets that money and then how she can get it out there. So please, Shannon, come on up. Thank you.
Thanks, Willie.
Thanks,
Thank
Willie.
you, Willie.
Thank you.
Good evening. Thanks for having me. Willie and I are a perfect match in the sense that I write career and technical education grants. Specifically, Carl Perkins grant. It's a federal grant that flows through the state of Minnesota. So the state of Minnesota gets that money, and then we as local consortiums apply for those funds. Previously, we were called the East Range Perkins Consortium. We were that for many, many years. Some of you are aware of that when you were Evelyn Gilbert and Virginia and other school districts were a part of that. When the Minnesota North Colleges started their merger process, we started a process of bringing 3 different consortiums together, the East Range Consortium, the Hibbing-Chisholm Consortium, and the IAS Consortium. And that's one of your first pages in your little packet. It kind of gives you a nice graphic of how large geographically that is. And now we serve 22 different high schools in the region, working with all of the Minnesota North campuses. So like Wednesday, I will be in International Falls. Another day I might be in Hill City. So we're all over the place. There's 3 coordinators that service this grant. One based out of IAS, one at Mesabi Range, and then myself out of Rock Ridge, because you give me in-kind space for the grant here and have for over 20 years. So do appreciate that very much. Our grant partnership also appreciates that. The second document in your packet kind of shows what our board is. So when we merged, we kind of took the profile of what was the East Range Consortium at that time and really strategically looked at the fact that we wanted a large geographic spread of our membership. We wanted to be very eclectic. We wanted to have secondary administration. We wanted secondary teachers. We wanted business partners from all over the region in our different career pathways. So when we look at hospitality or construction or welding or child development, we wanted to make sure that we were representing different areas and keeping that all brought to the table. In addition, we wanted a few community partners like the Applied Learning Institute. We want a local chamber, which kind of rotates every 2 years, so we move that position around. Terms can be 2 years. They can be up to 3 years for each term, so they can serve 6 years on the board. Jade Andre from Rock Ridge is one of the teacher representatives at the moment. She's doing a fabulous job. She also serves on what is called our finance team. So all of the requests, we have a request process in the spring where all of our teachers from all of those 22 high schools can ask for different funding sources, whether it's professional development, whether it's equipment for their classroom, whether it's travel money to take a student group somewhere. For instance, many of the things that Willie talked to you about, the business trip or the Burger Bash in Duluth, we paid for that. The job fair, we paid for that. Greg Foster's trip up the shore and into Duluth, Perkins paid for that. So we're constantly funding different things, not only in your school district, but others. But because you're a large district and you have many teachers with a CTE license, we can fund you. And when I say that, it's very specific in the sense that like equipment can only be funded for a CTE licensed instructor. They have to hold a careers license in the state of Minnesota. If they have that license and they have a program approval on file, you as the school district are eligible for CTE levy reimbursement. Very important to you. That's 35% of their salary, different supplies that are brought into a classroom, some of their transportation, professional development costs. Those are reimbursed to you if they have the license and a program approval on file. So very important. Part of your school district, last year we had some additional people go through a licensure program that we worked on, and again this year. And they're also going back for what's called a work-based learning endorsement. And as you pursue your academy model, you're going to want to have students out more and more in that work-based learning environment. But by having some more of your teachers receive that endorsement, when you move to that next level of really having that capstone project, you're going to be set up to have that teacher be eligible to receive that funding, which is very important to your school district. So those are some things that Willie and I are going to be working on in the future. There's something called a Youth Skills Training Grant that you can put students out in the workplace. You can have funding to have a person to help coordinate that, seek those sites, and help bring dollars back into the district to make it a little bit more affordable. So futuristically, I mean, I know you're not quite there yet, but that's where I think you want to go. I know that's where I want to see you go, to really have those students out there really having that fully embellished work-based learning experience. And of course, that's more than a 40-hour in a school year experience, so they need to be out there more than just a job shadow type of thing. A couple other things that we kind of work on, you'll see a lot of different camp opportunities. One thing I want to highlight is the Empower piece that you're seeing. We've extended the deadline to this on May 29th, but this is for and about females pursuing non-traditional careers. So you may have seen during the school year, we had 4 different events at 4 of our different college campuses. We intentionally market those females that are looking for non-trad experiences, giving them that little taste, learning to some speakers about what it might be to pursue a non-trad career. I'm always bending Willie's ear. You got kids? How many kids are you bringing over? How many kids am I paying for a bus? So since he lives next door to me, I'm always like, okay, we need more kids for Rock Ridge. One of these days he's going to be tired of me doing that, but I do it a lot. We're following this up with camps this summer. So we'll be having a camp at Mesabi Range, we'll have a camp at Hibbing, and then we're going to have a camp over at the Forge over in Grand Rapids. So different opportunities, different places that they could come. It's a unique experience in the sense that sometimes, and I think we've all been there, if we don't know somebody, we're in a group that's not really familiar to us, we're not as comfortable. So if we're setting up an experience that is geared for females to try something, they're going to have more confidence to maybe take that elective in your classroom. So we're just really encouraging that. And then we have a lot of other camps that we're working on with Minnesota North. Perkins funding helps pay for this at the post-secondary part. We are a 2-sided grant, so there's post-secondary funding and there's secondary funding. We fuse those together as much as possible, but we do have certain guidelines within that federal grant of where dollars have to stay. So we kind of blend as much as we can with that. Just fun things, good things for your kids. Anytime we can do anything, we want to do it. So thinking about futuristically where Perkins is going, Willie has learned about this, and Angie as an elementary principal, we can start bringing funding down to grade 5 now with Perkins. It's a little prescriptive in the sense it's got to be strictly career exploration. So I couldn't buy equipment for a 5th grade instructor, but I maybe could send their kids on a classroom experience using Perkins funding. We collaborate as much as possible. You've probably heard of the Northeast Minnesota Office of Job Training, or JET. They have funding strictly for career exploration that flows through the IRRB. And we have a system, we partner together. Their CEO is on our Perkins board. So whenever we can, we go to JET funding first for career exploration, saving our Perkins dollars for something else. So if we can go there first, but they are in the Taconite relief area. So they can fund locally, but like career exploration trip like Greg or UMD or anything like that, we will fund that to go to Duluth or further. We sent Jade Andrew and Joe Oja down to a culinary event in the cities this year using Perkins dollars. So we're there for that type of experience. We want to fund those instructors as much as possible, but it is a competitive process, especially with those 22 school districts. But you've got good staff here. They're asking for good experiences for students, and that's what we look at. That's what our finance team looks at when they're approving funding. So it's a very, very good model for us to work with. Any questions?
Nope.
Great program, no, great
Yeah.
resource.
Yeah.
It is, and it's an annual funding. It's about $750,000 a year that we bring to northern Minnesota. And then there's some other little ancillary grants that we'll apply for along the way that help impact other districts. So, but the big money is that CT levy money. So always keep that in mind that, you know, we're kind of that frosting on the top of the cake, but that CT levy money, that's your cake. You want to make sure you're capturing those dollars any way you can. So anytime I can be of any help, let me know.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Up next is 5.2, a presentation by consultant hired by the city of Evelyn concerning the Evelyn school site after demolition is completed. The presenter is Bob Streeter.
Take a minute to get the phone set up here.
Can you hear us, Bob?
Yes, I can. Can you see me or can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay, should I share my screen?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Are you able to see that okay?
Yep.
Okay. Well, good evening, Mr. Chair and board members. It's been a while since I've had a chance to present to you. What I'd like to do tonight is provide an update regarding the special area planning process or the reuse of the school property in Evelyn. If you recall, this is a 6 to 9 month process, and it starts with understanding the market for housing in the Quad City area. It also begins with understanding the opportunities and constraints related to the site, its grade, the location of utilities, etc. And then it moves to the second phase where the city council, with input from the advisory group, takes the information from the first phase and their understanding of the community and what they think the community would like to see, and they convert that, or they prepare a vision and goal statements. So I'm going to start there in the presentation with that. So let me move to the next slide. So when the city council, with the advisory group, of which there are 5 in the city council a few months ago, worked to prepare a vision statement for this site. A vision statement is very broad, but it tries to capture what it is the city council would like to achieve with development at the site. So the future vision that the council established was this site will be an attractive mixed-use neighborhood that enhances the community socially and economically, making the community a more desirable place to live by providing various housing options, inviting public spaces, active connections to adjacent neighborhoods and amenities. So that's the big idea, and that's just meant to sort of provide direction generally for the crafting of the design alternatives. So within that vision, there are goals and objectives in 4 categories. So in the category of land use, the first goal was to create a vibrant and active neighborhood within a larger neighborhood. And then you can see A through E. These are how that how that goal is achieved. So for example, A, allow for a mixture of residential uses. Ensure there is space for retail services. C, distribute the park and open space throughout the site, and then so on and so forth. When you look at the goal for park and open space, you're going to see that the council's intent was to provide a variety of attractive park and open space types and related on-site programming that meets the need of the neighborhood and the community both now and in the future. So underneath then, you've got a series of objectives. We want to make sure that there's space for all age groups and physical abilities. We want to make sure that programming can occur year-round. We want to incorporate safe and accessible sidewalks and trails. And then the last one was abundant, attractive landscaping and trees that are easy to maintain. When we look at the housing goal, the goal there was to provide various attractive housing options to meet the broad community needs now and in the future. So that was to provide life cycle and multi-generational housing options. So life cycle simply means there's something for people who are starting out in life, who are moving up in life, starting a family, and then those who want to downsize. And then a second and third objective was to establish a consistent building architectural style that uses high quality materials that are timeless. And then lastly, the development of this site will be phased. It'll happen over time. And then lastly, in the area of connectivity, the big idea there was to improve connectivity to neighborhoods, the downtown, and nearby amenities. So we want people to be able to walk within the site, to and from the site, in a way that's safe and pleasant. And we want to make sure that the traffic coming in and out of the site doesn't create problems for adjacent properties. So when we look at the vision, the council established the vision along with input from the advisory group for a series of exercises that they went through. And then the vision is supported by goals, and the goals are supported by objectives. So this is the council's vision as of today. Now, the next step that we do is we take the input from phase one, what we know about the housing market, what we know about the site. We take input from the council's vision and goals, and we convert that to very high-level concepts. And so these concepts are meant to provide a visual about how those words get translated into pictures and site concepts. Now these are at a concept level. They're going to be refined. So I'm going to go through three of them briefly. So the first concept, if you look to the left, that's your north. If you look to your right, that's the south. So the way this first concept is laid out, you've got single family on the north, and then you've got about 3/4 of an acre of green space. As you move to the south, you've got an area for recreation. That's about 2.5 acres. And you'll see the rectangle at the top. That is where the existing hockey rink is now. And then as you move further south, you've got what's called multifamily, but they're really twin homes, 1- and 2-story townhomes. And then as you move further to the south, you've got about a 3.5 acre site for recreational programming, not only for the community, but for the folks who live there. And then you've got 3 apartment buildings in the neighborhood of about 70 units. So what we try to do is we look at the demand for housing and what can be accommodated. And then we weave in the green space because that's really an amenity and a draw for people who may want to live there. So that's a brief overview of Concept A. This is what it looks like. This is a perspective. It's called a perspective. This is what it looks like from the west. If you were to kind of be up maybe a couple hundred feet, you can see the green space and how it is connected throughout the site. Now, the next slide I'm going to show you, just recently, the City Council changed or modified its vision to what they had originally intended, and they wanted to retain some of the items or buildings and amenities that are there. So this concept shows you concept A with what the city council would like to retain. So they would like to retain the hockey rink, they would like to retain the playground, they would like to retain the multi-purpose building and the tennis courts, and they would like to retain the heating plant that's now providing the energy for the high school, the multi-purpose building, and the bus garage. And then because the council desires to retain the multi-purpose building, it shows a parking lot that would have to be constructed on site. So originally the council had a vision. I showed you concept A. Now their vision has modified as we've moved throughout the process. And so I don't have updated concepts. So we will have to come back with updated concepts now that reflect what the council's new vision is, and to try to, or we'll have to prepare another concept. So I'm going to move on to concept B now. So concept B, to your right now is north, and to your left is south. This concept, the focus here is maximizing the number of single-family housing units on the north. And so you see a road connected from Harrison to the middle of the site. And you see then the green space with the townhomes on the east or the downside and the apartments on the west. And as you continue through the green space, that green space there is about 2.5, 3 acres. And then it goes to about a 1 3/4 acre green space for a park area. So again, trying to take the vision and the goal statements the council originally developed with input from the advisory group and try to turn that into site development concepts. So this is the perspective of what that looks like. And again, these are going to be further refined. We always start with very high level, and as we work through the process, we refine and we adjust. So that gives you a perspective. And then, as I mentioned earlier, the council wants to keep certain elements, so you can kind of see then how that would lay out on concept B. Okay. So then let me move on to the last concept, concept C. So this concept, again, tries to maximize the number of single-family housing units with some townhomes. You've got about a 2.5 acre green space on the back sides of these homes, the single-family homes. As you move to the south, you've got some twin homes, some townhomes, with about a 3.5 acre piece of green space there. So between the one on the north and that one there, you have almost 6 acres of space. And then you've got a smaller green space on the corner with 3 apartment buildings. Again, right around 70 or 75 units. This is what that would look like. That's a perspective of what that looks like. And this is how that site needs to be adjusted in light of what the city council would like to keep. So when we kind of put all this together, you've got the 3 concepts that reflect the initial vision and goal statement compared to each other, so you can kind of see how they change and they're modified a little bit. I have talked with a couple of builders, and one of the builders told me they like concept C and that they would be willing to build 2 spec homes on that concept. So then you've got the last slide I just want to share is these are the same concepts with what the council would like to retain. So this is what I need to take this new information and then redesign these in a way that allows for what the council would like to keep, but still creates an attractive site plan. And in the end, what we're trying to do here, in the end, is create a site that is of high quality, high value, that has an amenities and a feel that doesn't exist anywhere else in the market. And we'll know we've done well if people are willing to spend their money to build a home or a builder is willing to build an apartment building, that's really the best sign that the city's done a good job in working through the site design process. If the private side is willing to invest its money. So the next step now is for me to come back, probably in 6 weeks, with a revised concept to present to the city council, and then to the advisory group, and then ultimately to the public. And then we'll move quickly through this process into final refinement, and then we're into the implementation phase. So that's my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions the board may have.
I have a question, Bob. This is John Uhad.
Yes.
Or that June 10th meeting that we were scheduled for, is that going to be changed now because due to the changes of the plan?
Yes, that will be changed, and a new date has not been set. We had a meeting with the advisory group for June 10th, and then with the community for June 11th. Those now have to be moved because I'll need to finish this work first before we come back.
Okay.
Any questions for Mr. Streeter?
When's this planned to concept to finish? When do you think the finish line is?
I would say certainly by the late fall. I mean, we intended to be done in July, but with the new information, that'll probably extend this for a few months. But it'll be done by the fall for sure.
Great.
Okay, any more questions for Bob? With none being had, thanks, Bob, for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Bye-bye.
Bye. I don't even have to introduce Angie, she's all over it.
I'm here.
All right.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I know Mike is going to get me a video set up here, but in the meantime, before he puts that video up, I just wanted to let you know that the beginning of the school year, K through 6, we had 480 students, and we're ending with 494. So we went up 14 students, which is a good thing. We literally had 4 students last week register, 2 first graders, a second and a third grader, and today a kindergarten student came to register. So I will be at 495 once we get him into Howard School. So it's been a good sign. The most that we had was in first grade. We had 6 students throughout the year add to our first grade class size. So they are up to 75, which is 25 students in each class. But yeah, so we definitely grew our enrollment. So that was exciting to see. And then I'm going to start off with a 23-24 recap of our school year at Laurentian. This was completed by our awesome ambassadors in 5th and 6th grade. So they tried to capture the most of our events throughout the year, but it's only a 4-minute video, so they didn't capture everything. But this is really good training for them to go into high school and be in that broadcast that they do on Friday mornings because they're interviewing students, you'll see. So this is good training for them for when they get up to the high school.
This is our Laurentian Elementary Year Recap. We will be covering all the great things that happened this year and yet to come. Hi, I'm Bryn. Hi, I'm Gianna. Hi, I'm Avery. Hi, I'm Gia. Hi, I'm Amelia. In September, the 5th grade went to Starbase in Duluth. In October, the 6th grade went to a STEM showcase in Winnipeg.
Today I'm here with Aiden in 6th grade and we're going to be talking about the STEM Showcase. So what was the STEM Showcase?
It's basically a building and you go there and there's a bunch of stations and they teach you about science. It's pretty cool.
And what would you say is your favorite part about the STEM Showcase?
Probably the dome. You get to go in there and it's they teach you about space and stuff.
Okay. Would you recommend that other people go to this?
Yes, 100%. Also in October, the 5th grade went on a field trip to Hawks Ridge. I am with Miko in 5th grade, and I am interviewing him about Hawks Ridge. So, what is Hawk Ridge?
It's basically about like you just go and observe birds with the scout leaders, and you go and release birds.
Okay, cool. And what was your favorite thing about it?
My favorite thing was when we got to hold the birds and we got to like release them.
Do you recommend it for other schools?
Well, it depends. Like if you're a bird lover, then of course you could go. I would recommend it though.
Thank you. In November, we had a Veterans Day program put on by the ambassadors. Also in November, the 4th grade went skating at the Hippodrome. One of the fun things that the 3rd graders did in December was making gingerbread houses with Leo's project. We had our fierce, effective collaborators. In February, the 6th grade went on a ski trip to Anchorage. I'm here with Zari in 6th grade. What was your favorite part about the ski trip? Watching beginners start skiing. Did you learn anything? Yes, I learned how to go on a train park. Do you recommend it for other schools? Yes, they just have to try not to show off. We had fierce, engaged students. April, the 4th grade, did Leo's project, and it was the Spring Buddy project.
What was Leo's project?
It was a thing about where we went on a nature hike, and then we painted rocks, and we went back in the woods and went on a walk, and then we painted rocks.
So what was your favorite thing about Leo's project?
I liked when we went on the nature walk, and we went way back in this area we've never gone, and it was fun.
Okay.
In May, the 2nd grade went on a field trip to the Forest History Center in Grand Rapids. We also have our K through 5th spring singing programs. We also have our track and field, and that is for K through 6th grade. 4th grade also goes on a field trip to the Bowling Gardens in Virginia.
Very nice.
Awesome. I think that's pretty good for 5th and 6th grade.
Right.
Got that.
Skill levels. They do a lot. They actually put on our daily bulletin every day. So every day they record themselves doing the daily bulletin, they send it out to the teachers, and then the teachers play it throughout the day whenever they have time to do it. So they actually put a lot of work in, and they did a food drive for us. They're the ones that put that Veterans Day program on. So they do a lot for the school, and the advisor is Stace Landwehr, so to give him kudos as well. So I wanted to talk about a few events that we had since the last time that I had seen you and reported. We had our Title Family Engagement Night. That was the first Thursday of the month, which was May 2nd. So our family engagement night, we had Parkview students, North Star students and families, and then Laurentians students and families. And we were up at Laurentian, and we had about 140 people show up. We played bingo. We had a scavenger hunt, we had smart activities, and then we fed them pizza and cookies, of course. And we had some informational booths there as well, like our public libraries from all 3 towns were there promoting their summer reading program. And we had Range Mental Health there with the booth, we had Check and Connect there as well, and then PTA. I want to just mention what a great venue Laurentian Elementary is to have these community events and school events. And I know North Star and Parkview are going to be our great venues too. But that venue is just so open, and it's got a great sound system and a big screen that we can put things on. The microphone is it's really nice there. And then you got the indoor playground. And I know that there's multiple birthday parties there on the weekends as well, because every weekend, Monday when we come back, there's new kids that will tell me, different kids, look at the balloons up there. Where's that dinosaur balloon from? So we're having birthday parties there, and they have these helium balloons, and then 1 or 2 will go up in the air, and then they're up in our ceiling. So it is being used by our community as well for events. So it's nice. You guys did a great job on this building. And then the last Thursday, May 9th, we had our kindergarten roundup. So before we had this event, we had 53 students registered. And by the end of that event, we had 13 new ones that we did not know about. So we're at 66 kindergartners, which would be 22 in each section. And it actually even works out to have 11 girls and 11 boys. So it's the females and males are exactly 11 in each class. So that's where we're at for right now. And then this Thursday, I hope that you all can make it to our Franklin Elementary closing ceremony. It's Thursday at 5 o'clock to 6. And we have a short program with some former students and former teachers speaking. And I also want to say thank you to Melissa Lotiger because she's the one that has been planning this event with me. So we're excited to have that this Thursday. We welcome everybody in the community to come out and join us in celebrating Franklin Elementary. Also this Thursday is our last day of preschool. And then also Shannon Cush Jeffrey, our early childhood coordinator, she's hosting a preschool informational meeting, and it's at Parkview Elementary, but it is for all of our preschool students in the district. So it's not just for Parkview Elementary students, but it's also for Laurentian, and it's from 5:30 to 6:30 this Thursday, again at Parkview, and it's for those families that have questions about transitioning into preschool, their children. She'll answer questions about our monthly fees that we have and any scholarships that are available. So if you are still thinking about registering your preschool student, please attend this informational session if you have questions still out there. Some field trips that we went to and are planning to go to. We had our second grade field trip to the Forest History Center in Grand Rapids already. We've had our first grade field trip. They went to the Duluth Zoo. We had first and second grade last Friday go to the Shrine Circus. And then we have, tomorrow we have Ninja Everywhere coming, that obstacle course, and inflatables. Then this Thursday we have our track and field day, and that's where North Star 3rd and 4th graders will also be coming over and we'll be competing with them. Our PTA will be selling concessions and the parents are invited to come and they can just be in the stands. They can't be out on the field, but parents are welcome to that. And then that was the 3rd and 4th grade one. Our 5th and 6th grade one will be next Tuesday. And then that Wednesday, the 22nd, will be our K through 2. And again, Parkview will be coming over K through 2. North Star 5th and 6th grade will be coming over as well. We'll be using our new facilities. And let's see, what else do I have? This Friday, we have our Spring Sing program. So at 8:45, kindergarten will be presenting with Mrs. Forsman. And then 10:30 is 1st grade, 1 o'clock is 5th grade. And again, that's this Friday. And kindergarten is going up on a field trip to the Palucci Center in Hibbing, and they go next Tuesday on the 21st, the same day that we have our 5th and 6th grade track and field day. And then the following Thursday, May 23rd, we have our 5th grade DARE graduation. And the 3rd grade, it will be going to their field trip to the Minnesota Discovery Center. And then Friday, May 24th, we're finishing up our Spring Sing programs by doing 2nd grade at 8:45, 3rd grade at 11, and 4th grade at 1. Spread them out a little bit so that we have enough room to get people in, parked, and then out. So that's why we have a big gap in between the age groups that are singing. And then Thursday, May 30th, the last day of school, we have 2 field trips. 2nd grade goes to the Alcott Park and 4th grade goes to the Bowling Gardens. And the last thing I just wanted to mention is I always like to give a shout out to the PTA because they do so much for our schools. And so if there's any parents out there, they're always looking for volunteers to help them with all their fundraisers they do. They do a Rockridge Spirit Wear fundraiser. They do a Snickers Pizza fundraiser. When they put on the Scholastic Book Fair, they earn a lot of money. I want to say it was like in the $10,000 they earned this year in that Scholastic Book Fair. So those are fundraisers that they use that money then to be able to put on and cover the cost of our Ninja Anywhere. they're doing giving each grade $500 for transportation for our field trips. They use that money to buy our students scholastic newsletters for all the grades. They use that money to buy our track and field t-shirts, so every student pre-K through 6 gets a free t-shirt. They purchased those. They purchased Laurentian a storage shed with a lock for our outside playground equipment. They gifted our librarian $1,000 to buy books, and then also each classroom teacher was able to get 5 or 6 classroom books for their library. They provide staff appreciation treats, popcorn throughout the year for our students. They come in and make popcorn and give popcorn up to our students. So they do a lot, and they're always looking for a volunteer, and it's a great group of people. So hopefully if there's any parents out there, please join our PTA, because they do a lot for our students and a lot for our staff. And that's all I have for you. Unless you have questions.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit, yeah, right? Yes.
Any questions for
I don't
Amy?
have any questions, but I just have a comment. I just thought your whole presentation was wonderful, and I loved how positive it was. And I just feel like so many good things are happening at Laurentian, and it was just really fun to hear. Lots of amazing events. It seems like the school year went great, and I loved seeing that video of the kids. That was so cool. But what I really loved is I glanced over at you, and you were just like beaming with pride.
Yeah.
That was so cool to see too. So,
Yeah. Oh, I love it there. I love my job. I love what I do. The staff is great. And yes, and that first year, last year, it was rough. I mean, because opening a new building, I just underestimated what it would be like. And that first year, everybody was a little overstimulated by just the soft furniture, that they're not used to that soft furniture, and it rolls. So they think they can slide on it, some of our little kids. And it was just teaching them how to use this new furniture that we have. And we're just having that indoor playground. I mean, what kid would not love coming into an elementary school and seeing an indoor playground? So it was, so this year, now that the kids were used to, like, where do they go for lunch? Where do they go outside? It was just a lot smoother of a transition this year for sure. Yeah. And it's been a joy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
And Teacher Appreciation Week was last week, so shout out to the teachers.
Yes.
As well as the School Nurse Appreciation Day, National School Nurse Day was last week.
Yeah. And we definitely
Shout out to all them. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew. Thank you. Up next is 5.4, the Student Representative Report.
Yes. So we've had a lot going on as well. Prom was just April 27th. I think it went really well. I had a good time personally. The prom committee did a really good job. Like, the decorations were awesome. I know they were there pretty late that Friday, so just a kudos to them that they made that so great for us. Recently, the DECA members were at this Thrive Leadership Academy at the International Career Development Conference in California. So I heard about that through some people, and I thought that was a really cool thing. And as Mr. Speltz had say, the Culinary Club, they were really successful down in Duluth. I thought that was really cool. And then just this last Friday, we started welcoming in all of the 7th graders. The now 7th graders, they gave a little presentation, and then some of the 11th graders were able to, my class personally, we gave them tours around the high school. So it was really nice to start welcoming in the upcoming 7th graders. All Night Grad is coming up. There's a choir concert coming up as well. The choir students are preparing for that. I know there's an orchestra concert going on, I think, right now. And then with like the more academic side, AP testing has been taking away lately. I just took my AP Psych exam this last Thursday. I know AP Bio was this week, and then AP Gov also, I'm pretty sure it was last week as well. And then with that, the end of the year is also near for us. I'm feeling the wrap-up happening, and there's just a lot of things going on, projects, finals, kind of getting your grades all summed up, and clubs are closing up, and there's just a little bit of stress, some anxiety, but overall, I think we're all pretty excited for the year to wrap up, and it's going really well, so.
Excellent.
Where is the all-night grad party?
I'm not sure, where is it?
I think it's in the gym, isn't
I
it?
think it's in the gym.
Pretty sure it's in the gym.
Cool. And hopefully we're starting to think about applications for next year for student school board reps as well.
Okay.
one continues on and one new one, is that how it will work?
I think we're gonna still do applications, is what we talked about, still do applications and, for next year, but yes,
But Cora continues on, right?
yeah,
And then one comes under.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'd be cool with that.
Because Ashlyn, you're graduating,
Yeah.
correct? Yes.
All right. Thank you.
He's tired of sitting next to me already.
Okay, 5.5, I put this on the agenda because I really didn't know what direction the board wants to go with how we want to, do we want to evaluate the superintendent through closed meeting? We'll go into a closed meeting,
I feel like that would be appropriate.
I do.
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Or, we could reach out to MSBA, but I just feel that this is us.
Yep,
We
I
in
100%
a closed
agree.
meeting.
Okay, so we'll go into a closed meeting. I know Mr. Yuhan, his printer was broke.
I'm working.
Okay, all right, that's right.
I've been busy.
Would you guys like to go, at the next board meeting, would you like to follow up the meeting or go into closed session at the next meeting and just kind of go through the evaluations? I mean,
Yeah.
They've all been turned in,
yeah,
-1.
yeah.
-1, John. But,
And our next
Working on it.
meeting's June 10th.
yeah, next meeting is June 10th. We can
Okay,
just go over it,
yep.
we can just discuss it. I mean, I don't know how lengthy you want to go into it or,
Well, generally speaking, what you do is you go through it, you go through all the questions and any comments, and then we bring in Dr. Schmidt and we critique him or give him goals or whatever, and then we come back out of the closed session and give an executive summary.
okay, all right.
Right.
So does that, so
Yep.
at our next meeting, would you, on June 10th, we'll just go into closed session after our
Regular meeting.
regular meeting.
Yep.
Okay. Make note of that.
Good with that.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Is this our last meeting or are we?
We got one in June.
No, these guys.
Oh.
These guys would be done.
Yep, they're
Yes,
done.
you would be done.
Actually, this is your last meeting today?
It would be today.
All right.
You were supposed to bring them their gift.
Yeah, treats and all
Cupcakes.
that.
Okay, well, I got an unopened bottle of water.
Thank you.
I know there's
though,
candy in your office. Oh, hang on.
Thank you though for
Thank you very much. It was
and wanting to be a part of the board and
Guinea pigs.
applying. Yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's getting some candy. Hang on, he's looking.
He's searching for it.
Yeah.
Ashlyn, what's your future plans? then?
I'm planning to go into the Air Force.
Oh,
right.
wow, great.
Good for you.
Yep.
Excellent.
There you go. Thank you for being school board rep. There you go.
This is great.
There you go.
It's like Halloween, I guess.
Thanks very much.
This is great.
Thank you for
Oh, the good bars. Oh,
Let's Bill in them all.
I thought I did.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, thank you guys for such a,
You guys did a great job this year.
Excellent job,
Yep.
guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh,
and if you,
and since you're on this, next year, our students will be able, the senior will be able to apply for the MSBA.
ambassador.
They have 3 scholarships. And at the end of the month, I'm handing one out in District 11. So,
Okay.
down toward Duluth at a school. So
Yep.
it's
And
really
with-
great.
And with that, if you guys want to be excused from the table right now, I would make that motion to, if they want to be excused, they can go.
You can head out if you'd like. We're almost done
Yeah.
anyways. But
Wait.
yeah.
Look at this.
Oh,
Good job, Willie. Thanks for saving us.
Yeah, senior gift, I
Okay.
guess.
Well, Bill was supposed to pick that up, wasn't he, Willie?
Okay, so we'll move along. So up next is the superintendent report. Okay,
So members of the school board, Angie already gave you an update about the Franklin closing ceremony. So I only have one thing for the board. So we get this journal called the Minnesota School Boards Association. It's regular, goes, everybody in the state gets this on school boards in the state. So I'm paging through mine here, and guess who's on page 25?
Look at that.
They're very old.
So
Look at that.
you have a celebrity amongst your midst.
Mr.
Did he sign
Reardon.
it for you or?
The MSBA
Not
decided.
yet. Here, I should get it before well, I'm gonna go.
Sign it.
Oh, perfect.
So I'm gonna get Tim's signature. Here, just right down there somewhere. So this is really important. This is kudos to him. They don't just put anybody on these pages.
And who should I make it out to?
$100,000 to. So just want to make sure everyone knows that too. So Tim is in a lot of groups. He's worked for MSBA for years, for a long time. So longtime service members of the state of Minnesota. So congratulations. again.
Congratulations, Tim.
Speech.
Yeah,
No. But thank you.
That's it.
that's it. Okay, moving along. 5.7, can I get a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
Oh, yeah. Brendan's 5.8, I forgot.
Yep.
I'll move.
Support.
Motion by Colbert-Dahl, support by Reardon. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. 5.8, discussion on parking at the ball fields.
Well, I just wanted to bring up, because I was in attendance for baseball and softball games when all the fields were being utilized, and the parking coming from, well, I guess, would it be?
What's your direction?
South.
Progress Parkway.
So, yep, coming from Progress Parkway and going in, when you come to that curve there, just as you're about to come into the parking lot, there was cars parked there and buses weren't able to move at all. I mean, they were having a really difficult time there, and
Parking on both of those corners coming into the parking lot.
And I was approached by a few people about that, because even myself, when I went to park, I came to that corner and a big lifted truck was coming at the same time I was coming through, and I nearly took off the mirror of the car next to me because there was not enough room for the cars to go by. So it's awfully tight in there, and somebody has suggested, because it was also pointed out to me as I was at the game about the parking, but is it possible maybe to put signs in that corner that say no parking between these signs, or something along those lines? I know it limits parking, but I'd hate to see people's vehicles getting sideswiped, and I'd hate for buses to be sideswiping vehicles as well.
I think those school buses should park up here by the gym.
I thought that's what was going to
Right.
happen.
We don't want them down there at all.
That's where they should be in the first place.
Then somebody should be directing them, or letting those school districts know that this is where you're supposed to park when you come to our facilities, because it was.
Was there a lot of buses down there?
Well, there was multiple games that night.
There was.
It was packed.
It was packed, and I recall seeing 2 buses.
Yeah, there's multiple. There's always buses, and they kind of park right there, sometimes by the corner. and
Because they don't have any choice a lot of times, but.
Yeah, that would make a big difference if they weren't there.
And they got it, and my son is one to blame too, but he's got to park up here and walk down. They all want to park down there and just get in the trucks and leave, but there's the parking's a shortage there. It's always been known to be short, and I think that was the biggest parking lot we could fit.
players.
Yeah.
Yeah, making sure players are parking in the high school.
And then the other
wherever-
thing
wherever.
that I've noticed is when they park along that S curve going into it, that's where the bridge comes across. So then now you have students walking across in between parked cars and
For
people
sure,
don't see them.
it's a safety issue too.
It would be
Yep.
probably better for us to,
And we've talked
Stripe it or
about
something.
striping that curb yellow, so that people aren't parking.
Yeah, and that was mentioned as well. But just something, because it gets really busy up there.
Oh, it sure does.
And, yeah. So I just wanted to bring that
We'll
up.
get the stripers out there.
Get Mike on that
Thank
right
you.
now.
should get valet parking up here and have some
Right.
students do it.
As long as we're on the baseball field, that they did the Deer River game. I think it was the broadcast team that broadcast did the whole baseball game. That was awesome. They did a great job. I know it's a little bit off topic, but I'm bringing it up because it was super cool.
Yeah.
They did it, and you need to know that the group who is recording those, because they've recorded other things, they're famous throughout the state. Because other people from large districts, they see this and they're blown away by the quality of what our Rockridge kids are doing on those broadcasts.
Multiple cameras, they
Yep.
narrated, they
They
just,
did, they did the softball game too.
did they?
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Had a camera out in center field.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
3 cameras, so.
My mom watched the whole game. She actually was at the game, then she went home and watched it again once I told her about it. It was just, it was awesome. Did a great job.
All right, any more discussion on that?
Thank
Okay,
you.
Thanks. Move along to administrative item, 6.1. Can I get a motion to approve 6.1?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Director Yuhan, support?
I will support.
Support by Director Lotiger. Any discussion?
Yeah. I'm just like confused by the whole thing. I have a few irritations and I guess I will say what they are. It seems like the whole our communities knew what was happening, like there's so much buzz, yet here I am on the athletic committee and a school board member, and I literally hadn't heard anything about it except rumors from the outside. So I was highly disappointed by that. And I wasn't sure why we wouldn't have a committee meeting on this, because it seems to be such a hot topic. That's number one. Number two, we just got an email from the head coach, and he is kind of rebuting everything that was kind of said, and so that makes me even more confused. Like, what is the truth? And he's a very successful coach. We've done very well. And apparently his evaluations were really, really well. So the whole thing has me a little bit perplexed.
I heard nothing in the community.
Oh, I heard a lot. I did.
Other than an email today.
I've gotten, people have contacted me too. I've heard a lot of different things.
Me as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
So it's
you-
just
yeah.
on I agree with you, just on balancing the truth of what we're hearing on both, we hear this and we hear that, and to make that smart decision.
Right, and I just want to be fair and just, and why didn't we have a committee meeting on this? I'm just curious, does that not happen, or?
A couple things. Generally, committee meetings, that's not the purpose to talk about personnel with programs like this. I did contact you, and I did talk, and we had conversations, because generally in a public format like this is not, you don't want to talk about these things. Now, there is an approval process, not approval, there is a appeal process that any coach in the state of Minnesota, if they are not renewed, they can appeal the process and follow the process and the procedures that way. So if the board does approve 6.1, then the coach would have the opportunity to go ahead and appeal that. And that would be the coach's call.
I do want to say that I called you first. You did not call me first. So there's that.
But we spoke about it.
We did speak about it, but now I'm getting conflicting information, and that just makes me, I just want to make sure it was a fair and just process, that's all.
Well, and in the email, and I responded to the email as well, and I want to be cautious in what I say about, a staff member in a public setting. But, I think in that email too, there was a lot of assumptions made, a lot of statements made that were assumptions in the email, as well as, there was a statement made that, other people, the things that we're hearing too, things are being said possibly that are not true, just as well as some of the assumptions made in the email aren't true as well.
Well, that's
You
the thing,
understand what I'm saying?
I do, but it would be nice to be able to have a better conversation about it and give someone a fair chance to, fight for a position that they've been successful at, actually. I mean, I don't know the schematics of it all, and maybe there's things that need to be improved on or whatever, but it's just a little perplexing to me, and that's all. And like I said, I'm just interested in being fair and just in the process. And I feel like that if we're not, that looks really, really poorly on us.
Let me say this, I believe it was a fair process. We do evaluate all of the coaches. You have activity directors who are specifically hired to do this. This is their job. They talk to the head coaches. We consider all of the things. There were multiple conversations that occurred. I'm not going to go into the details in this format. All I can tell the full board now is I believe it was a fair and just process. We are bringing this to the full school board. I realize this is not an easy item. We are recommending the non-renewal of this particular coach.
I guess in light of the fact of what you said a few minutes ago, when we do that vote and that he does have that opportunity, in that, I think it's fair because he can come and speak for himself too,
Okay,
at that time. So he still has an opportunity.
okay, so we got a motion by Director Yuhan, support by Director Lotiger. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Opposed?
So that's
Nay.
4, is it 5-1?
5-1.
5-1? Okay. All right, 6.2. Instead of me reading them out, we'll just consider we'll go through these. I'll read them once and then we'll go through 6.2, 6.3. Consider approval of resolution relating to the termination of non-renewal teaching contract. Okay, can I get a motion for 6.2?
So moved.
By Director Lotiger, support by Director Yuhan. Okay, roll call. Director Reardon.
Yes.
Director Lotiger.
Yes.
Director Yuhan.
Yes.
Director Addy, yes. Director Colbert-Dahl.
Yes.
Director Westby.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. 6.3. Can I get a motion to approve 6.3?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Director Westby.
Support.
Support by Director Yuhan. Director Reardon.
Yes.
Director Lotiger.
Yes.
Director Yuhan.
Yes.
Director Addy, yes. Director Colbert-Dahl.
Yes.
Director Westby.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. 6.4. Can I get a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Director Yuhan, support. Reardon. Any discussion? Director Reardon.
Yes.
Director Lotiger.
Yes.
Director Yuhan.
Yes.
Director Addy, yes. Director Colbert-Dahl.
Yes.
Director Westby.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. 6.5. Motion.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Director Westby, support.
Support Yuhan.
Support by Yuhan. Any discussion? None being had. Director Reardon.
Yes.
Director Lotiger.
Yes.
Yuhan.
Yes.
Addy, yes. Colbert-Dahl.
Yes.
Director
Yes.
Westby. Motion passes unanimously. 6.6. Got a motion?
So moved.
Director Lotiger, support. By Reardon, any discussion? Director, none being had. Director Reardon.
Yes.
Lotiger.
Yes.
Yuhan.
Yes.
Addy, yes. Colbert-Dahl.
Yes.
Westby.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. 6.7. Reardon. Support.
Second.
Support by Westby. Any discussion? Director Reardon.
Yes.
Director Lotiger.
Yes.
Yuhan.
Yes.
Addy, yes. Colbert-Dahl.
Yes.
Westby.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Very efficient.
6.8.
So moved.
Support.
Moved by Director Lotiger, support by Westby. Any discussion? Director Reardon.
Yes.
Lotiger.
Yes.
Yuhan.
Yes.
Addy, yes. Colbert-Dahl.
Yes.
Westby.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. 2 more. I can take a drink of water. Okay, 6.9. I get a motion by
Seconded.
Reardon, support by Westby. Any discussion? None being had. Reardon.
Yes.
Lotiger.
Yes.
Yuhan.
Yes.
Addy, yes. Colbert-Dahl.
Yes.
Westby.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. 6.10.
So moved.
Moved by Lotiger. Support by Yuhan. Any discussion? Reardon.
Yes.
Lotiger.
Yes.
Yuhan.
Yes.
Addy, yes. Colbert-Dahl.
Yes.
Westby.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. Okay,
Take your drink of water.
all right, I'll take my drink of water. 611. Approval of the request from City of Evans to allow Evans Fire Department and Police Departments to use the former Evans campuses for various trainings.
So moved.
Moved by Director Reardon,
Support.
support by Director Lotiger. All's in favor? signify-
Discussion?
Oh,
Yeah,
discussion?
discussion.
I just want to make sure, okay, yeah, the city's, because of the city using or wanting us to retain certain buildings, that this is just the high school, so this isn't something that the,
We did
City
the same
wants.
thing last year for the Gilbert Fire Department and Sheriff Department.
no, I think it's a good thing, I just.
They use
wanted
it
to
for
make sure.
training before the buildings are
Right,
taken down.
but we're not, they want to retain the other building.
Right.
Are you just wanting to make sure like they're not gonna start fires in there and that kind of a thing?
Yes.
Go on,
Right.
Yeah, okay,
Start firing that new gym.
perfect.
No, they're not gonna go there. They're only gonna go on the part that's gonna be demolished for sure.
Perfect.
Okay. Any more discussion on 611? All's in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. 612, consider approval of the professional service contract between Rockridge School and the Range Mental Health.
So moved, Reardon.
Moved by Reardon,
Support.
support by Yuhan. Any discussion? None being had, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
Oh, you work there, that's right, so it's 501.
501.
Okay. And you guys did, I'm just gonna back up, you did get the corrections in the beginning, right, about the teachers? I mean, I did.
Yeah, you did.
Okay, all right, thank you. 613, consider approval of field placement affiliation agreement between Grand Canyon University and the Rockridge Public Schools. Motion for that?
Make that motion.
Motion by Director Yuhan.
Support.
By Lotiger. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. 614, consider approval of the nursing and allied health clinical affiliation memorandum of agreement between Southwest Minnesota University and the Rockridge Public Schools.
So moved.
Ooh.
We're fighting over our motions here tonight, Reardon.
Is it, I'll do Lotiger ladies first. Reardon, you get the support.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. 615, consider approval of board book subscription for the upcoming year.
So moved.
Moved by Director
Support.
Lotiger, support by Director Westby. Any discussion? None being had, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. 616, consider reapproval of the 2023-2024 teacher seniority list with the corrections.
We'll make the motion.
Motion by Director Yuhan,
I'll second.
support by Director Westby. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. 617, consider approval of Minnesota High School League membership.
So moved, Reardon.
Reardon, support.
I second.
Okay, by Westby. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. 618, consider approval of donation request from Tucker Nelson for items in the Evans Gilbert High School theater property room. Sign, it's in a sign and 3 auditorium seats. I'll make that motion.
Support.
Support by Director Lotiger. Any discussion? None being had, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. 619, consider approval of donation request from the Gilbert VFW for kitchen items, filing cabinet, storage units, and other usable miscellaneous office items from the Evelyn campus. I will actually make that motion.
I'll support.
Because I actually showed him into the kitchen because they were looking badly needed.
He's
Kitchen
raising his
items.
hand.
Huh? Oh, come on.
Bill,
Speak to
just real quick, please add the caveat, if INAC doesn't need them, because INAC maybe say, we actually wanted to save that, haven't been in here yet to say that.
Okay, so if INAC needs to save it or gonna use
If it's the
it,
same item, obviously INAC's gonna keep it and bring it to North Star. If
Okay.
it's the same item, so
Okay.
I'll help with that, but just
All
in
right.
case, I wanted to say,
unless other, so we approve the items unless otherwise
indicated by INAC.
INAC. Okay,
Contingent on INAC not wanting it. Well, who made the second?
I did, and Lisa did.
I did,
Yeah,
whatever.
Lisa
So-
can take it though.
Lisa,
It's
okay, so second by Westby. Any discussion on that? None being had, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Meeting announcements, we got here that the Steve Kersey Legacy Track dedication on Saturday, May 18th at 10 a.m. 7-2 City Auto Glass dedication at May 23, 3:35 at the City Auto Glass Field right over here. And also, we're gonna have an upcoming, it hasn't been announced yet, but in our Buildings and Grounds meeting, we talked about our board members touring the James Madison School, just to look at the condition of it, just to get a better view.
Next Monday, 5 o'clock.
Next Monday at 5 o'clock, it will be posted on Board Book. So you'll just go you'll meet Jim Andrick. I won't be able to be there,
I can't be there either.
okay? But you'll meet Jim Andrick, and I know Al, you'll probably be there.
Yep.
Okay, and just go through the building, and it was hard to describe just basically the intricate detail of just, Jim Andrick will get you into the places you need to, where, it looks nice here, but, it's maybe not so good above,
Doesn't look nice
Like-
anywhere in that
Right.
building.
I mean, it's like the duck, you see the duck on the water, yeah, the duck looks nice, but the paddles are underwater going crazy, but anyway. So that'd be on the 20th at 5 o'clock at the James Madison School.
Never seen that.
Okay, so our next regular meeting is June 10th, okay, here at the administrative building.
And then there'll be the closed session after.
Yeah, and the closed session after that.
Yeah, okay.
For the, so with all that,
So move for adjournment?
so we got a motion by Director Reardon to adjourn. We got any support?
Support.
Support by Albert
I
Dahl.
gotta be faster.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. This meeting is adjourned. How's that?